This is Sky Blues Extra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sky Blues Extra Live here after the Derby game. Wow, dramatic end to what was a very scrappy game in all honesty, wasn't it, Tom? Lucky to get away with a draw, I suppose, at the end.
Yeah, it wasn't the best game, was it? We didn't play particularly well. Yeah, it was a bit of a mixture of emotions. I was pretty angry when they scored, and I was like, "How on earth have we thrown this away?" But then, yeah, great show a bit of character to nick a point anyway. I think
at least we're having a bit of a smile on our face, coming away with a point where, in all honesty, at 91 minutes, I think when we scored, we were pretty much down in the dumps, weren't we? And it wasn't
that's the thing,
great.
isn't it? Like that's the thing. We're showing a bit of character. I mean, same against Norwich on Saturday. Just grinding out points. Like we keep saying it. Just avoiding defeats is really important. If we can keep doing that, then yeah, we'll be okay, I think.
Yeah, we're nowhere near the finished product. This is pretty visible for everybody to see. We're brand new to this division. There's going to be tons of games like this where it's to and fro, and we might come away with a scrappy point at the end, which we've got to take, haven't we? Robin's has set us that target of 20 points for the first 20 games or so until after Christmas.
Point a game on average, sort of thing.
And I think that takes us to 14 now. So we've got six games left over December to pick up more points, and this is the run now, isn't it? A crucial run.
Yeah, that's what we said. This is the first of the sort of few games. How many more have we got before Christmas? Like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think it
really might be six games until the new year.
The new year, yeah, exactly. So, and Saturday Rotherham at home looks massive. It's a massive game when you look at the league table. I mean, it's quite early on still in the season, but I do feel like it's a bit of a 6-pointer, to be honest with you. It's a massive game. Yeah, these next few games are going to be huge for us. We've got to put a run together. We're unbeaten in 4 now.
Yep, four unbeaten. Yep.
Yeah, that's a great platform to sort of kick on from, I think. But I think if we can just add a couple of wins in there now, if we could beat Rotherham, if we could beat Wycombe, then it's going to help massively. It really is.
Listen, a load of talking points we'll go through during tonight's show. As always, get your comments come in. We'll talk about anything you want to discuss. We'll kick off with a few of those now. Shaw and Horn, sponsors of the podcast, come in and say, I wish O'Hare would take his chances. He had a few chances there tonight. I mean, that game could have been dead and buried in all honesty, couldn't it, with the chances O'Hare had? Yeah,
he frustrates me a bit, O'Hare, because I really like him, but there's just something about him in front of goal, and I don't know what it is, but he just seems to struggle in front of goal, doesn't he?
Yeah, you talk about that frustration. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, he is frustrating. That's what he is. Michael's right there. He's a frustrating player because, the thing is tonight as well, I thought he looked really up for it. He was charging around the pitch. He looked full of energy. When O'Hare's up for it, he is really up for it. But still, there's just that in front of goal that he's just not quite on it, is he? It was same last season to an extent as well.
He kind of reminds me of Raheem Sterling when he first came onto the scene. He's got all this the tricky ability, and finishing was the thing that really let him down. And it's only over the last 2-3 seasons that Raheem Sterling has brought that into his game. And now I'm not saying Callum O'Hare is at the same level as Raheem Sterling, of course not. But he reminds me of that sort of mould of player where it's an attribute that potentially will come into his game as he develops as a player.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'd agree with that. I think Sterling had a bit of a slow start, perhaps couldn't finish as well, but obviously he's gone on to be a fantastic player, and if O'Hare gets anywhere near that, then he'll be some player. But that's the thing. He's still, he is still young, isn't he? He's still a young lad. He's still, he only really had one season in League One, and that's all he's done really. So he's stepped up a level, and it's tough. So he's got a long way to go. 100%.
Oliver's making a point here. Would you say it's time to leave him out of the side for a bit? I think we lose a bit of a creative spark, don't we? I mean, we don't have many up the top end of the pitch, if I'm honest, completely honest. So I think dropping him a little too harsh, but he does provide a lot of space, not only with his creativity, but his space as well. It brings other people into play, doesn't it? And takes defenders away.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I don't know exactly who we'd who we could put in for him.
I mean, Allen's the only other guy, but he hasn't hit the ground running at all this year, has he?
Yeah, we were saying on the pod, Allen hasn't really hit the levels we expected from him, really. I'd sort of tipped him to be almost like a new signing this year, but he just hasn't quite delivered for us. So, yeah, I think, we're going to have to stick with it with O'Hare for a bit, I think. We're not blessed with options, are we, really? That's the common theme, I suppose.
I think we'll move on from Callum O'Hare. We might talk about his chances further on in the show, but another guy that was pretty much non-existent in my viewpoint tonight was Jordan Shipley. I don't think he got into the game at all. It's been a few times. Excuse me. It's been a few times this season where he really hasn't got into it. I think he's a little bit in awe of the championship. He just the game seems to float by, and it's like he can't believe his luck that he's playing in this league. What's your thoughts on Jordan Shipley? Yeah,
I agree with you. I think, I felt like he was our weak link tonight, especially in the first half. There was one bit, I think Hamer had done I think it was a header back in field, like a really clever little thing that he did, and the game completely opened up, and he had 3 or 4 options. He could have played a through ball, he could have dinked it over, he could have had a shot. And he was just slow, and he just gave them so much time to sort of mop up the danger. And it's just things like that are frustrating. When someone as good as Hamer does something like that, and then Shipley sort of isn't able to capitalise on it, it's just frustrating to watch, isn't it? Sometimes, don't get me wrong, I love Shipley, and he's come a long way, and he's come from League Two all the way with us. But yeah, it's it's a tough level for him, I think.
Yeah, the game passed him by for sure. We'll look at some more comments in a second, but let's bring our first guest in for the evening. Regular 2, SkyBluesExtra. It's Glenn Goran Eriksson. Glenn, good evening, Glenn. 1-1 draw with Derby. What's your thoughts tonight?
I just we didn't turn up today, did we? Really,
no.
we were. I think they actually probably got stuck in a bit more than I expected them to. I thought they were a bit of a more passing side, and they probably got a bit more, probably in a bit like Rooney does, have a bit of quality, but get in people's faces. And yeah, we rode our luck a bit, but like I say, it's a stonewall penalty on O'Hare. How the ref doesn't give it, he's got the ball, but then he's clearly tagged him to stop him getting any second touch on the ball. And if Norwich are getting penalties for the keeper getting the ball first and then taking the man, then we got the ball first, and then he took the man. So, like I say, and I think he probably evened it up with a few decisions. But fair play to the ref. He'd made a great decision to play advantage when Kelly got clattered in the build-up to the goal. There would have been plenty of other useless refs at this level that had blowed up, and we'd have.
There's plenty of those.
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
Plenty of those.
But yeah,
so I don't know if you've listened to this week's podcast, but I've been told under no certain terms that I cannot talk about penalties.
Don't set Dean off, because we'll be here all night.
But yeah, 100%. It's a stonewall penalty. Anywhere else on the pitch that happens, it's a penalty, and it's just because it's probably a goal scoring opportunity, and O'Hare's missed it that the ref hasn't give it. But it should be given regardless of what
because he would have got he'd have got the rebound, he'd have got the second touch, he would have scored. No doubt, because you can clearly see he's put his arm across it, and it's just it baffles me how he never give it on it. But I didn't think he was particularly great anyway. And another thing, Kazim Richards gets booked early, and he's gone in a few times and a few challenges with Wilson. Why are we not milking it? If that was the other shoe was on the other foot, and one of our players was on the booking, they'd have milked it. And I'm not saying
that shows how the lack of street, we're not very streetwise, are we? At the moment, it seems to be, there are chances that other teams would get us in the book or get us sent off, and we're just not capitalising on those opportunities that arise for us. But I suppose that will come with time in the division, maybe. But it's something you learn as a footballer, I suppose, isn't it, to be a bit more streetwise?
But no, massively impressed with Giles again tonight. It's just, you wish you had two of him, one to play on the right wing and one to play on the left wing. And anything that good came from him again, really. And he is getting the end product. We don't take his chances, like in the case of O'Hare. Walker, I thought, put another shift in with next to no service. I thought he was a bit unlucky with the goal that got ruled out. It was another marginal call, but it was a cracking finish from where it was.
I just want to bring in a comment that Max has made, Glenn. The system, again, question marks over this system with 4 at the back. What were your thoughts on that this evening? Personally, I don't think it worked.
I think I know why he went it, because he wanted to match up with them. I think the problem the 3 behind, I don't think Shipley in that role, unless you're going to play him as off the main striker, because you're asking him to do a lot of work playing there, or that's really where O'Hare should play. O'Hare wants to have the three roles, so to speak. I think Shipley kind of gets in and just gets to do the donkey work to maybe look, which is not really his best attributes. You want Shipley making the forward runs, and he didn't get really on the ball as much as he should do. So, and then you're playing Giles out of position to kind of accommodate him. So I think if it was me, I'd go back to the back 3 on Saturday against Rotherham, because they're just going to stick it on us. And I think that's food and drink for Ostergaard, really. And I mean, it was a great cross he put in for the goal as well. Ostergaard getting himself. I just think you probably do that. I actually think we missed Sheaf. I think I'd have rather played Sheaf, and pushed Hamer a bit further forward. And you've always got the option of dropping Hamer a bit back if we're chasing the game.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I just think
maybe Sheaf in ahead of Shipley there, and
push Hamer forward. Yeah.
Because you're going to press them, and he's that good. He's that good a player. You could play him. You could play him anywhere on the pitch, Hamer, and he's going to have an impact on the game. You could play him right back. You could play him centre forward. He's just got class, and you just need a position where he can get a bit of time and space. And probably if you played him in the free role behind the main striker, he can just float around and pick passes and open the game up a bit, which I think tonight showed that we didn't put any pressure on Derby, and we let their defenders travel 10, 15 yards with the ball, the same with the holding midfield players, and then you're playing yourself into trouble. Whereas if we have 10, 15 yards to travel forward, we just play little sideways balls, or we play it back to the keeper. So I think it's just believing that we're actually a decent side.
But Glenn, before we let you go, Glenn, once again, great input. You've obviously got some fans now on the Sky Blues Live Extra. Deborah Whitehouse is giving a shout out to you. What would you like to say to your fans, Glenn? You got any comments for your fans?
I don't know.
He's got no comments.
He's got no comment. But now,
awesome.
I think the positive tonight is we've done a massive blow to them psychologically. Derby, they would have thought they were going to get 4 points minimum from the last 2 games, and we've put a blow on them, and we've kept the unbeaten run going, and we've just got to get a result on Saturday. We've just not got to lose again. It's simple December. If we don't lose many games in December, then I think we're gonna stay up. But it's going to be hard work, and it's going to be a battle. But at least we showed a bit of fighting spirit that we had last season in the games since the Notts Forest debacle.
Absolutely, that's all we can ask for, Glenn. Fantastic input once again this evening. Hopefully you can join us on Saturday again. Hopefully after a win versus Rotherham. Thanks for your input tonight, Glenn.
Keep up the good work, lads. See you later.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Glenn.
mate.
Take care, mate.
We'll talk about a couple more of the big points and the big talking points during this game, Tom. Where should we start? Should we start with the penalties?
Well,
obviously,
I don't know, mate. You might get a bit emotional, mate.
Yeah, I might do, but you know.
That's what we're here for.
It makes good telly, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Let's talk about O'Hare's penalty. It was a Stonewall penalty.
I think it's. Yeah, I can't see why it isn't a penalty.
I think if that happens to any other team in this division, they get it, right?
Yeah.
It's happened 100%. Twice against us. That type of incident, right?
If you compare it with like the Saturday's one, I mean, they're just poles apart, aren't they? In terms of one being a penalty and one just not being a penalty. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a pen, isn't it?
I wake up every day and look at that Norwich penalty and just get angry.
I guess what I'm trying to think about is why hasn't he? What reason has he not given it for? Is it because he thinks the ball is going to go straight out, or wherever the? He thinks wherever the ball goes, it doesn't matter. It's gone away, so it's not a pen. That's all I can think of. But
I'm thinking he's noticed O'Hare's already played the ball, so he's not going to go for the challenge after the ball's been played. But that's precisely what happened to us on Saturday, right? The ball had been played, and then he took the player, but it was given a penalty. There's no consistency there, right?
But again, like so. But if you're anywhere on the pitch and you knock the ball past the player and then take the foul, it's a foul.
It's a foul,
right? It happens all the time. Like that happened to Dabo probably 4 times tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's in the box, is that not a pen? I just don't. I can't get my head around it.
No, they've got away with one, Derby. I'm going to try and be a little more impartial than Darren Bent was on commentary this evening, or as I like to call him, Darren Bent's Derby County from now on.
Yeah, well, I was doing Clive Eakin bingo, so.
Well, did you get a full house?
Mate, yeah. Filled about 8 bingo cards.
We also had a Ben Hamer towards the end of the game, which Brazilian Ben.
And we had I'm sure I heard Ian Kelly in the first half.
As long as
I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining them now, but
as long as it wasn't Lorraine Kelly, and
Lorraine Kelly
in the middle of the park. But yeah, the Derby opportunity, the Derby had definitely had a penalty as well. In my view, we got away with one there, didn't we? As well.
On the commentary, I think Oggy got it spot on. Actually, I think the ref was evening up in his head.
He probably had to. Yeah,
you could. Theirs was a Stonewall penalty as well. And I mean, you look at like their players' reaction. Hyam's reaction was very telling. I mean, he looked absolutely
like sick.
Yeah, he did. Even like when the ball had been cleared away, he looked like pale from how close it was to being a pen. So yeah, we've got away with one there, but it's evened itself out. If they'd have got that one, we'd feel really sick, wouldn't we? So
absolutely, yeah.
Justice has been done, but in the wrong sort of way, really.
Absolutely. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Hashtag SkyBluesExtra live as well. We'll keep an eye on the Twitter feed. But yeah, if you want to send a message in the chat function that you're watching, we'll get the messages through here. Something Danny said here, they take a draw, a fantastic character. It's good to have that character, isn't it? We've showed a couple of times this season. We've got a little bit of character there. It has come to the forefront the last couple of games, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does show good character. Because when did they score? Like 84th. Yeah,
we've been asking for people to stand up and be counted, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think like years gone by, the amount of times would have gone behind, and you'd just be like, that's it now. You'd sort of just give up, wouldn't you? But with this team, you do feel like we can get something from the game, even that late on. So sure. We do show strong character.
Listen, if you draw your away matches and tend to win the majority of your home matches, will stay in this division. You look at the bigger picture. That's 4 games now unbeaten after an absolute barren run.
I mean, over these
would have been down, right?
Over these 4, I mean, the only thing is that we like Derby are in a bit of a rut and should we have taken advantage. But aside from that, you look at two away games. One was against top of the league, and we got a point in both. Great. The Birmingham game, it's kind of an away game, so we've got a point there, and then we've won our home game. So over these 4, you can't really complain. Again, it comes down to what we do on Saturday, how we back that up, really.
And it's all about moving up the table, isn't it? We've moved up 1 place there this evening.
That's my mum, by the way.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring her in because otherwise you might get a few messages. But yeah, it's building blocks, isn't it? If we can just sort of slowly edge our way up the table away from the relegation, it takes the pressure off, right? Yeah,
it absolutely does. Yeah, I think what Robbins is targeting. Yeah, it's like 1 point per game, isn't it? Really, and just keep ourselves ticking over at this point. That's all we've got to do, I think.
A lot of people obviously talk about the penalty. Wasn't a penalty. Yeah, to be honest, he probably should have scored that opportunity as well.
Yeah,
if he was a bit stronger in that challenge, and he to me sort of flapped it a little bit.
Yeah, you just feel like he wimps out things a little bit, like in those positions, and
people are saying he bottled it.
Yeah, he did a bit. I think it's what we said. Like in front of goal, he does seem to bottle it a bit. What
about their goal, the one we conceded? I mean, Kazim Richards was a bit of a nuisance, wasn't he, during the match? He didn't do a lot, but he popped up when he needed to and scored that goal.
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those, like, we've let the ball come in. That's one thing. We've let the ball come into the box. It's a fantastic ball, and he's leaped. It's a brilliant header, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's a really good header. Like, there's not a huge amount we could have done with that. They were putting some pretty dangerous balls in, really, weren't they, all night?
Yeah, but there was always their plan was it just to get on the wings, right? McCallum.
Yeah.
I think that was one of McCallum's poorest
Yeah.
games in the Sky Blue shirt for me.
He got done a couple of times.
He didn't really defend that well. Eve's positioning was a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, he got caught flat-footed a couple of times in the first half.
I thought the same with Dabber as well. I didn't think their positioning was great during the defensive stages of the game.
Yeah.
They were pretty much 3 or 4 yards ahead of the two central defenders, which you don't really want to be when a team is attacking you on the wing. That's for sure. So I thought that was a concerning point. But is Robbins trying to shoehorn McCallum into this team?
Possibly, yeah.
Because you think Giles didn't do anything wrong in that left wing back position up until 7 or 8 games when we decided to bring McCallum in, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, it does feel a little bit like that. But yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, interesting to see what they'll do on Saturday.
Right. So this is a point of contention because Bright is available, isn't he? I know he's at Peterborough on trial at the moment, but are we missing that kind of spark up the top of the pitch? I know he brings a little bit of baggage, but could he be that kind of X factor player that could keep us in the division potentially?
He could be, but I don't know. I just is he the right sort of character in this team? I'm not sure if he is.
Would he? Would Robbins have signed him last season if he thought he was the right character for the team?
When we had him in a couple of years ago.
We had him in that first League One season, right? And then we had potentially the opportunity to sign him in that summer.
But I feel like we've come on a lot since then as a team. Like I think even that League One season, we were still we were building a good squad, but we were still there were still some people around the team that there was like people like David Miley who came in for half season. There was like bit part players here and there. We're now like quite a solid unit as a squad, and I don't know if it would just disrupt things a bit, but I don't know. And is he good enough for the Championship? Yeah, he probably is. Is he fit enough? I mean, there's all these question marks around him.
He was at Wigan last year, wasn't he? At the start, was it Wigan?
Yeah, I think so.
And they won the Championship, but he never really played at all in that first period of games.
I mean, this is the problem with him. I mean, I've heard on podcasts and stuff about him, and apparently he didn't even turn up to training half the time. I mean,
so you don't really want that kind of attitude.
No, it doesn't set a great example, But
Danny's saying we need a bit of experience there. He's referencing potentially Tom Hiddleston. I don't think we could afford a fifth of his wages, if I'm perfectly honest. But
no,
that's the type of player potentially we need. But would he go into midfield?
They come at such a cost. That's the problem, isn't it?
And we seem to be packed in that area of midfield, right?
Yeah.
We've got Kelly, exactly. Sheaf, Amer plays there. Shipley has played there as well. And obviously he got rid of Josh Eccles, who was another player in that centre midfield. So he obviously feels like he's got enough in the middle of the park.
Yeah, no, I think he probably feels like he's got enough midfield options at the moment. But a bit of experience or something in there would be good. But I just don't know where it's possibly going to come from. It's a tough market. It
is, especially in January during obviously this COVID season.
Yeah, I mean, Robbins came out, didn't he, talking about possibly getting someone in to cover for Godden, and even that's doesn't sound like that's gonna happen at all.
That's a real blow, isn't it? Really, losing Matty Godden. We expected him to be out maybe up until this game, but now it seems like it's going to be longer. It's horrific.
Happened last season as well, didn't it? I mean,
yeah, it's a really really bad injury on the sole of his foot. So, potentially we're looking to be without him for maybe 2 months or so.
Yeah, that's a big blow, and it's all right with kind of Walker in there, but like if Walker got injured, we're like in real trouble, I think.
Yeah, and you could see that tonight. Obviously, when Walker was brought off, he replaced him with Biamu, yes, but we still only had one man up top.
Yeah,
it takes an option away from us, doesn't it? Because if Walker's blown out of his arse, which he was pretty much tonight, you've only really got Biamu or Bakayoko. You wouldn't play both together, really. They don't really seem to be the type of the two up front that would suit each other. So you play one or the other, and it just keeps us as a static one up the top, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's tough. I hope Godden's back soon. I know Robbins can sometimes be a bit kind of. He tends to overestimate these sort of things. I've noticed. Mm-hmm. I think like last season we thought he'd be out for a lot longer, and he was back fairly quickly. So hopefully he's doing that with it, because I think he said months, didn't he? But that could be 2 months, and he's already done a month. So
listen, they said months last October when it was pretty much looking doom and gloom when was it Milton Keynes we played, and we looked poor and devoid of ideas, and we just lost God at that point. And they said it'd be months before he was back, and then obviously he was back in December, and the season turned around. So fingers crossed, it's that sort of.
I hope so. That'll be a big boost for him to come back. Definitely, big boost.
Justin saying here that Walker desperately needs that strike partner. Can we bring youth team strikers in as a second half sub? Wilbur Parker's sitting there. Could he be the guy who's got that little bit of X factor about him, head down? Not scared of anything. Could he potentially be our game winner?
He could be. I mean, I want him to get his chance this season. Definitely. I think we can bring him on and utilise him. Like, we've got 5 subs now. Why not bring him into the odd game? See what he can do.
Liam's making that. That point as well. Let's give him a go.
I wonder if Robbins is waiting for the right opportunity, because obviously the last, we're not. I don't think we've ever even been 2-0 up this season, have we? We've only ever been 1-0 up, or we're chasing the game. So he probably hasn't seen the right opportunity to bring Papaga in yet. But I'd like to think that at some point we'll be 2-0 up this season, and maybe or 3-0 up even. We can dream.
Maybe it's that Norwich. Maybe it's that Norwich Cup game.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Was that too far in the distance? I know it's a month away, but
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
that will change.
I think
his fortunes.
Yeah, possibly, but. I mean, I think he'll play a pretty strong team for that anyway. He'll take the cup quite seriously, I would have thought. It's a moneymaker, isn't it? Really. Even without the fans, you get quite a bit of money for getting through. So, but who knows?
Danny's saying they're bringing him on if we're chasing a game. I think, it's hard for a youngster, are we going to be, we don't want to be relying
it's that pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to be relying on 18, 19-year-old. I'm not too sure how old he is, but, you don't want to be relying on him to get you a late equaliser, right?
We did a lot with, I remember Ponticelli used to come on quite a lot when we were chasing the game, and it just seemed like he was playing under so much pressure.
Yeah.
And it didn't really suit him very well. So it doesn't always work that well, but yeah, he's got to come out at some point.
Donald makes a fair point here. I obviously just said that Max and Baka I don't think would work together, but they, needs must at times, and obviously they both came on the pitch tonight, and we scored the equaliser. I don't think it was through much of their work, but it was great work by Liam Kelly to keep the ball alive, and then Ben Amer. I'm going to call him Ben Amer from now on. That's it. Brazilian Ben. With a good finish. It was a neat finish, wasn't it? It wasn't like
it's not going in the Tate Modern, this one.
It's not, no, but it's a
maybe a smaller museum, like lesser known one.
Maybe what's the one in Cov called?
What, the Transport Museum?
No, the one by I don't think it's in the Transport Museum now. It didn't have wheels on it for a start.
Dabo could be in the Transport Museum. Dabo should be in the Transport. Yeah.
He's got a great engine, Dabo. He could be in the Transport Museum.
He should be in the Transport
Museum.
Museum.
What about the one by the Herbert Art Gallery? That's what I'm talking about.
You put it in there.
Maybe it could go in there, yeah.
But not Tate Modern.
But not Tate Modern. It's not quite good enough. But it was a clean, crisp strike.
Yeah.
And it caught the keeper a bit flat-footed, didn't it? But at the end, it got us a point, right? And exactly. Be happy with it.
Yeah. No, it was a nice goal to get a point.
This is quite funny. Sturridge is still available, still a free agent, but
I dread to think how much he gets paid.
How much do you reckon he is on, or was on it? Was he at Galatasaray, Fenerbahce?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Turkish side, wasn't he?
At least $100,000 a week, probably.
Yeah, gotta be. Yeah, we've got got no chance.
I mean, when you think like O'Hare's probably our highest paid player, and he's probably on what, $10,000 a week, something like that. I mean, yeah. That we can't get anywhere near some of these players unless they're going to take a serious pay cut.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, even Lee Camp, I thought about. I mean, he's
probably on a wage, but O'Hare's on a decent chunk as well. He's obviously the highest earner at the club, so
yeah, Hamer will be on a decent amount, I would have thought, but yeah.
I want to talk about the systems. We've tried a few different systems so far this season: 3 at the back, 5 at the back, 4 at the back, 2 up front, 1 up front. Triangle, Christmas tree, box. We've tried everything. It's a sort of the thing that a team that are struggling. They throw a lot of stuff at the wall and hope something sticks eventually. Do you think Robbins is leaving it too late in games to change the system when things are not going our way?
Possibly, but then I don't know if I wouldn't say he did that. I wouldn't say that was the case tonight. Would you? I mean, when would you have switched it tonight?
Probably from the first minute, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. I don't see us. Okay, having 4 at the back probably gives us a little bit more security with those 2 extra men in midfield. But I would drop one. Like if I went 3 at the back, I'd drop one from the front 3 and back into midfield. I just think we're so strong on the wing with Dabo and Giles or Dabo and McCallum.
Yeah, we're not making the most of them, are we?
That's what I mean. Tonight they were just for a void. Really, they weren't in the game at all. And I think if they're stuck in a rigid 4, they haven't got the license to move forward.
No.
And I think that takes away a huge asset to the team. I mean, I would suspect most of our goals this season have come from the wing play. And I think if you play the rigid 4, we just lose so much. And I honestly sometimes I question what Mark Robbins is thinking. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree with you. That we're definitely not utilising Dabo and McCallum as much as we did last season or in other games this season. I think Saturday is possibly the time to move back to 3 at the back and wing backs. Shipley possibly drops out.
They're going to be throwing a lot of men up front on Saturday,
and they're big.
They are a big, strong, physical team at the top end of the pitch for sure. And we're going to need men in and around the ball, to stop them from creating chances. And I think having the 3 there just gives us that security. If I'm honest, I think we got onto a gem last season playing that 3, and I think if we go too far away from that, I think we just lose everything from that makes this Coventry City team good.
No, I know. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's a hard one to like. Okay, we've switched up 4 and we've stopped conceding goals as many goals, I should say. But attacking wise, we just look void of ideas, and I think most of our things, our good stuff over the last couple of games has come from the opposition team's mistakes, if anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're definitely not creating enough chances, are we?
No.
Like tonight, we didn't create anything. I mean,
well, you say that
first half.
The Giles chance into O'Hare. O'Hare should be scoring that. That was a brilliant bit of play.
Yeah.
Nice intricate passing in the middle of the park, and therefore that was probably the only time we utilised the wings.
Yeah.
During the match, both Dabo and Giles were involved. Giles with the final ball in. O'Hare should score. He only has to throw his head at it.
Yeah.
The
second half, we just didn't.
No, I mean, let's look at some of those stats. I mean, 3 attempts on target. I suppose 9 attempts away from home isn't too bad. 46% possession as well. For this match, it's. I don't know. I don't think like they're not clear cut chances, are they? That's what I think we're missing.
I
suppose the O'Hare one was a clear cut chance, but his finishing is so abysmal that for someone like him it probably isn't, right?
Exactly. I mean, theirs weren't that clear cut. Well, I mean, they had a couple of shots that hit Wilson. He looked confident tonight, I thought.
Wilson, I mean, in both games he's played, I thought he's looked really good.
His saves weren't that difficult, but I think just the way he commanded his box was really good. Like, he's very quick to get out to the ball, isn't he? He's very comfortable at his feet. Like, almost like sometimes I feel more comfortable with him there than Morosi. Like tonight, I did a little bit.
I mean, that shot in the first half. He made light work of that, didn't he? It was down his throat, and he should be dealing with it. But he was very commanding as well during the first half. Yeah,
but with the ball at his feet as well, he did look very comfortable.
There was a real bad pass from McFadzean. Was a bit of a bobbler in front of him, and he made a bit of a mess of that. But after that, he was absolutely fine. He sort of got his. A lot of people have made comments about him in goal. Just trying to find a few comments now as I scroll up this long list of. Keep your comments coming in. We'll talk about whatever you want, by the way. Someone just said here about Posh. I've decided not to sign Bright. So,
there you go.
Robbins, get on the blower.
But if does that not say something to you though?
Yeah,
like
probably.
If Peterborough in League One don't want him, why do they not want him?
Because
Wages.
Mark Robbins get his arm around him and say, "Come on, son."
It's either I reckon he's either not fit or his attitude isn't right. It's one of the two, or both. But
yeah. Nige is saying here we get consistent chances with three at the back, not just spread throughout the game. He lets us build pressure, and I think that's true. The pressure thing is a big thing in the Championship. You see a lot of teams in the ascendancy will tend to score a goal eventually in this division. You know, that little 5-minute period that we had more of the ball after they scored. You know, it put us in the driving seat. In essence, of we're gonna potentially grab an equaliser here.
Yeah.
And I think the three at the back with getting the wings in play a bit more will give us that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Will West is saying Walker was awful today. What's your thoughts on Walker? I don't think he had his blue game in a Sky Blue shirt this season, but you know, needs must when he's on his own up the top, right?
Yeah.
You just got to put a bit of effort in.
Didn't have his best game, but he still runs about a lot. He still, works a lot off the ball. I don't know what more he could have done really today. You know, he wasn't getting a huge amount of service, was he?
He's feeding off scraps up there at times.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with him. Like, I think you can watch him and think he's not doing enough, but he's feeding off scraps. So it's tough. It's tough up there on his own. He wasn't getting enough support, definitely.
What about the disallowed goal from the free kick tonight? It was brilliant ball in by him.
Oh, the Walker one.
The Walker. I mean, I've looked at it a few times.
I've
seen it from two different angles. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Does the benefit of the doubt have to go in the attacking side, though? I think if that happened against us, that's a goal, by the way. I think just our luck, that goes against us, right?
I just think it's hard, isn't it? Like the angle, the replay angle we've got, it's really hard to tell. The linesman's in line with it. Like it's like when it's coming from a free kick, it's easier to make that call, isn't it? You know, you're not chasing like down the line to be in line with the defence. I think like the Oggy was in line with it on the commentary, and he said it was off. I think
Oggy's in line with everything, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
He always seems to be in line of a decision.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just roaming around the pitch and
exactly.
Got a headset on, just calling the game from there.
Socially distancing from Clive.
Yeah. What other things was Clive saying tonight? Was it did he complete your bingo card?
He got Walker and O'Hare mixed up within about 30 seconds of the game kicking off.
Did we play?
It was funny because it started off the game. Well, no, he's got a bit of a routine now. The game kicks off, and he always says, "I'm not quite sure where the away fans usually sit here," but he says it every single week. And but he says it every week, and I just think that's your full-time job. Just look it up before the game. Just get on Google, Derby County, have a look at the ground, and then. And then he explained where they were sitting. He was like, "We're halfway into the Derby half. The ball goes forward, and he's called Walker O'Hare. So we're like, so that is right in front of you then." But yeah, bless him.
Yeah, he probably needs some new glasses. Maybe Santa will bring us some for Christmas. Absolutely, Russ, in Oggy we trust. Everything that Oggy says is.
But by all accounts, I think Clive was probably better than the Sky commentary tonight. Yeah,
that was really bad this eevening. Darren Bent was just like he never gave us credit for anything. I mean, in that first half, it was 50-50 to be fair. You know, they had a few chances. We had probably the gilt-edged chances. Obviously, we should have had the penalty, but. From what Darren, if you'd just listened to Darren Bent, you would have thought Derby had 80% possession.
Yeah,
we hadn't made strong two passes together.
Yeah, people were tagging him in the Cov lineup at half time, saying, "Here's the players' names in case you need them, Darren."
Yeah, he kept saying McFadzean and Hyam all the time, but they were the only two players like he knew. Yeah,
he'd obviously just had a quick glance at the team sheet, like picked up a couple of names, and then been like, "That'll do."
Obviously, we had some big news. Well, slight big news today about the Rico situation. Danny's just brought it up there. Back to the Rico, 6 to 8 weeks rent free as Wasps want the exposure we're getting from Sky. You know, we're hearing there's talks to go back next season. I can't see much happening at the moment unless this EU.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know where it's. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure where that's kind of come from. I don't. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't go back in the middle of the. Would we go back in the middle of the season? There's probably no point.
I wouldn't. Well, especially during this season, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking pretty likely that when fans are not going to go back into the stadium this season.
It's only going to unsettle things this season. Next season, possibly better. The thing, like, we've got to get back. My worry is the pitch. Like, the pitch has got to be sorted out, hasn't it?
How much rugby is going to be played? That's another thing. You know, they're probably going to have a condensed season as well. So, you know, if we've got a condensed football and a rugby season at the same time.
I mean, you think how many
pitch is pretty bad anyway, isn't it? There.
Yeah, I mean, how many home games are we playing at the moment? Like, it's constant, isn't it?
Yeah. Plus, but obviously Birmingham play at the same time as well.
Yeah.
And that pitch is looking a little bit worse for wear even at St Andrews. I noticed on TV the other day. So, you know, that's a major issue, and it's a big part of our play, isn't it? Getting the ball down, passing the ball. It's probably a big catalyst for why we did so well last season, how we got promoted.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I would love to go. Obviously, we'd love to go back to the Rico, and it's absolutely a must that we must play in our home city, obviously. But I don't think the Rico is a viable option at the moment. It just doesn't seem to. Just doesn't seem to be, does it? No,
but we need that. We need that interim, don't we? If we are building a new stadium.
That's another contentious point, isn't it? The new stadium.
I think we're probably gonna do a hot topics video soon anyway to cover some of this stuff off and hopefully get some viewers comments to add into that.
It might get a bit heated, like me with the referees on.
Well, that's why it's called hot topics. You know, you can lose your head on it, and it's all good.
Jack's bringing up some really potential free agents. He's saying Jefferson Montero. He's got pace and dribbling ability. He's a little bit like Jody Jones in that mould, where he can run at players. And he'd rather bring in a proven player. You know, sometimes you can find the gems right from the loan from the loanees.
You can.
We've kind of found Ben Sheaf this season. He's turned out to be a bit of an asset. You know, we've had players in the past that have, like O'Hare, for example, last season.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's your thoughts on that? Would you rather bring in someone experienced, or would you rather bring in a potential raw talent who's going to just hit the ground running?
I think a bit of experience would probably help us. I think someone young, it's a bit of a risk, isn't it? Whether they're going to hit the levels. Like, obviously, championships are a high level. When you're in League 2 and League 1, it's a bit easier. It's a bit like what we were saying about the academy, like bringing players through. It's quite tough. I'd be tempted to go for someone with a bit more experience, but it's just that the cost of that, isn't it?
And who's available as well, you know. And when you bring somebody in, an experienced head, it can unsettle teams at times, because potentially they might try and take over a dressing room, or think I'm the big man here, etc. So it can unsettle teams. I don't think that would happen to us, because we seem to have a squad that's very together.
Yeah.
But maybe an outcast coming in doesn't bode well, whereas a youngster might try and blend into the squad a bit more.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we've just got to see what's out there and what's available.
Glenn's saying about Tom Bayliss, he's not going to look in at Preston North End, but he seems to be one of these players that in the mould of that have left Coventry to go on to better things, right? And hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, like with Bayliss, I mean, he played
a lot of football.
No,
in the last 2 years.
Did he? I'm just trying to think when we moved him on. Was it? He played in League 1 with us, didn't he?
Yeah, he played in that season. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. He moved in that summer from League 2, didn't he? Didn't play that first season in League 1.
No, I think he did. The second, I think he played in League 1 for a year, I think.
Right. Okay.
But he wasn't great. He wasn't as good as when we were in League 2. I remember a few games when he just went completely missing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just he hasn't played, has he? This is the thing. Bringing him in, what's he going to change about what we've got? I'm not sure.
Not a lot, I wouldn't say.
No.
And if we play, he'd play as one of them sort of two holding midfielders with giving him license to roam forward. I don't think you're not going to take Kelly out of the team. Sheaf's played well. You wouldn't drop Sheaf. I think Sheaf was just dropped tonight to give him a little bit of a rest, really. and to go with the four in midfield. But yeah, I wouldn't see him fitting into the team.
No.
Apparently, Wayne Rooney's been on saying that they should have won. I don't, you can tell he's getting on a bit. His eyes must be going. I don't think either side deserved to take 3 points tonight. I think 1-1 on reflection was probably a fair result. We had a few gilt-edged chances. They had a few.
No, it would have been.
But
if we're being honest, it would have been criminal for either side to take the 3 points, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. Sometimes I wonder what managers are seeing when they say. I suppose it's all press talk, isn't it? Try and G their side up sometimes.
That's what it's all about. There, like they are in a rut. He's under a lot of pressure. Part of the reason why they're there is because of how he's played this season as well.
Yeah,
I mean their fans they're just. He was terrible apparently.
He's being lynched, isn't he?
Yeah, so they've played better since he's not dropped out of the team. So.
All right, well let's move on. Let's look ahead to Saturday. Obviously, a huge game now versus Rotherham.
Massive game.
A potential 6-pointer. They lost tonight. I'm pretty sure I did see they were 1-0 down with 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think they did.
I suspect they lost. It's a huge game. We've got a little bit of history with Rotherham from last season.
Yeah, we
kind of owe them, don't we, from that 4-0 drubbing. But I mean, that was a catalyst for our season turning around last season.
Yeah, it was.
But what's your thoughts going ahead of that game against Rotherham?
Yeah, it's again a tough game. Like you say, we've probably got a bit of a point to prove with Rotherham. From that 4-0. They were a tough side in League One. Like even when we played them at St Andrews, remember the 1-1 we got? That was a big point actually for us. Huge, that game, massive point. But they were a big physical side.
I don't think that like that night. I thought we sort of let them come and play football for that first 60 minutes until we got back into the game.
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford to do that. We need to be on the front foot in the ascendancy from the off against it in this game on Saturday.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. No, I think it's a massive game. I'm just having a look to see their result. Yeah, they lost 2-0 to Brentford tonight.
Yeah. And they had a man sent off as well, from what I've just saw.
Yeah, Miller got sent off. Oh, is that I think that's one of their massive. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
So it does look like a 6-pointer when you look at the table. Like we're one place above them, 1 point above them. We're 4 clear of the bottom 3 now, which is good because we were sort of getting a bit close to the bottom 3, weren't we, at one point?
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, a few teams play tomorrow, but yeah, no, it's a massive game. It's a massive game.
And
we can get 3 points
started
there.
The season well, didn't they? They started really positively, but they've dropped back now. They've got a lot of injuries to contend with as well. But I mean, if we go there and win this match, it puts a real dagger into their heart, doesn't it? Going up against a team who is expected to be in and around the relegation zone with them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really does. If we get, I think the next 2 are massive. Rotherham and Luton. If we can get 4 points out of them, 6 points minimum, 4 points. That would be great. So they play Norwich tomorrow and then Swansea away. So they're likely to be around our. If we win and they lose or draw, they get their games will be on the same points. So big games coming up.
And what about the side? What sort of side would you put out? People are bringing their opinions in. Like to see us go to Avin saying. Like to see us go back to 3 against Rotherham, allows us to play through the lines a lot better. Yeah, it's a point I made earlier on. More attacking threat, frees up O'Hare. It does free up O'Hare in that 10 role, brings more people into play. What would you do? Would you change things from tonight?
Yeah, I think I'd go 3 at the back on Saturday. I think we need to switch it up a bit. We're playing at home. We need to, like we were saying, we need to get Dabo and McCallum, further down the wings and into more attacking positions. Especially now Dabo's getting back to his sort of fitness levels of before. Would like to see that. Yeah, I'd go 3. I think get Ostergaard back in, possibly drop Shipley back out. I think that'll make a difference. Yeah,
Michael's saying 3 at the back with Ostergaard and
Sheaf
back in the middle with Kelly, Hammer with Max and Walker up top. I think that kind of makes sense. Maybe O'Hare in behind Max and Walker, and have Sheaf and Kelly there.
Yeah.
Obviously we lose Amer that way, but potentially That gives us a bit more license at the top end of the pitch. It gives us an out ball as well, and it allows us to get those wings into play. I think that's pretty much how we have to go about, again, especially against the teams in and around us in the division. These are the games we must win. So
absolutely.
Prediction then what was your prediction? I know
for
you
Saturday
said it on the podcast, but I can't remember what you said.
I don't think I gave one on the podcast.
No.
I don't know. I'll go 2-1. 2-1 win. What about you?
I'm quietly confident. I think a two. Like tonight, it wasn't a must win. It was a must not lose. A point away from home is fantastic. But now,
thank God we didn't lose that tonight.
Yeah. It would have been a travesty if we did. But now going to Saturday, I think we can pull off a result, and really kickstart this month off now, which is an incredibly important month in our fortunes this season in staying in this division. So hopefully we can do that. Any final thoughts, Tom, before we head off for the evening?
Not really. No, just pleased that Hammer saved us. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Psychologically, that's a big point. I know they're down there, but it's one of those away from home. We could look back at it and say, actually, it's not the worst result. We just got to back it up, as we keep saying.
Absolutely. Well, that is the end of SkyBluesExtra Live for this evening. Thanks once again for all your comments, for everybody viewing, sharing. Don't forget to share all our content as well. Would really, really appreciate it if you could share everything that we post. This is your channel as well as ours, so if there's anything you want us to talk about, we're always happy to do that. Stay tuned for more exclusive content
and we've got
to YouTube.
We've got an exciting podcast coming out tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled.
Absolutely, very, very exciting.
It's a big one.
I've had a sneak peek, and it is very, very exciting. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Tom, once again, thanks for joining me. And all that's left to say is play up Sky Blues.